Hi everyone, Mature Simmer here. So let's see what we've got on the job market. We've got our special transport, which just takes forever. I don't tend to do those. I can go a little ways here up into, what is it, Salt Lake City, oh, I'm sorry, Nevada, into Idaho, or actually Oregon. So that's kind of a normal way to go. That's actually not a bad route. Because, yeah, it's obviously starting things from kind of where I see. Yeah, let's not make it complicated. We'll go with the one that gives us the most per mile. We're going to get a little bit of a bonus. It's got, again, a speed journey. And I know once we get up here out of Twin Falls, this is all interstate. So it should move along pretty quickly once we get there. Alright, get our lights on. What do we got here? Oh, I still have multiple trailers. Is it just two? It's just two. So we'll go from there. Alright, so we have to head this way. I'm not sure. I think we had come to the FedEx facility when we came into Jackpot and delivered. So, you know, as we discover more towns, we're going to have more options for contracts spread around the map. Where right now... Oh, turn left. Really? That's not what it said. Did it? Oh, it did. Okay. I didn't realize... I thought it was just a dead end into town there. I'm like, that makes no sense, but now it does. Why is that man standing there at 2 a.m. staring at me as I leave the yard? That's just freaky. Makes me a little nervous. I hope everything's okay here in Jackpot. Alright, we've got no one coming. Whoops, I'm going too far. Although that might work, given that guy just pulling up. He obviously can't see that a truck is pulling out.
Get ready to turn right.
So yeah, the good news with contracts is you just keep going and keep moving. Bad news is you don't really have to sleep, so it's harder to move things to daylight. Because again, I need to be done in 8.5 hours. It's going to take me 4 hours, so I don't have enough time to get me to daylight, but I think by the time I do this, we'll be delivering in daylight. And then the next few episodes, hopefully, will take place during the day. So you can enjoy that at that point. Alright, let's see. Can I see anywhere what my cruise is? There we go, 45. It's going to speed up here shortly, so I'm going to put it up to 60. Fastest I'm going to be able to go is 65. So that'll take a bit. That thing almost looked like it was on the road. I'm like, why is he just sitting there? But he's pulled off. Thank goodness. A little bit of some construction. So in this Back to Basics series, I do have kind of the detours and events, random things, I think they're called. The word random's used. It's not called random things. It might be random events set to the default that the game has, which I don't normally do, so it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. I'm assuming that pull-off at the Idaho border, that little trailer with the cones is always there, but I don't know. Same thing with that traffic sign that isn't operating right now. But yeah, with a contractor, you're kind of always starting out fresh. So you're never really running into the situation where you're usually running against your hours of service. Certainly not with the fact that I have not extended my distance at all. And not quite sure I necessarily will, because this has been actually working quite nicely. It's kind of the distances I want to get. You know, the challenge will be, although I suppose as I keep kind of going out with a hub and spoke type of thing as I go and get to other cities, because obviously Jackpot I think I had gotten to from, I don't know if it was Salt Lake or Elko, but I had gotten to it from something near the hub start of Salt Lake that I started with. But obviously now we're going from Jackpot and extending further, and now Ontario and also probably Twin Falls, which I assume we'll discover here as we go through it, will be sources of potential loads that I can run. Don't turn in front of me. Oh my goodness. Oof. I'm like on cruise. I didn't even have anything covered. I'm trying to figure out, like, I don't know the interior dash enough to know if this is a Peterbilt or a Kenworth. I think it's a Kenworth. I'm sure the hood ornament would tell me something, but I'm not certain. Alright, so this will move me over. Alright, gotta go a little further up here. Wait a minute, can I go here? Oh, yeah. Or, well, can I? I am so confused now. No, I can't. Where's it telling me to go? I swore it said go left. I am so confused. Alright. Hopefully now we won't get stuck at the train with the delay I had, but it'll be what it'll be. But I'm thinking we'll... Whoa, oh my goodness, this is going to be bad. Because the gates are going to start coming down. There was no way I was going to be able to stop. Alright. Whew. Well, that made me super... Like, that freaked me out. I'll tell you that. You can hear the train barreling down. Wow. I'm gonna have a heart attack here while I'm recording this episode for you. That would be really, really bad. You probably wouldn't see the episode, because I'm pretty sure my wife wouldn't edit it and post it if that's what happened, but you never know. So that's a little bit of a morbid... Oh boy. I made it through, thank goodness. I am just right there at the edge of... Not the edge of 17, not the Stevie Nicks song. There we go. But, you know, I'm nearly getting run over by a train. They could have taken me to the nearby hospital here if that happened. I suppose everything would have been maybe better than I thought, since I'm that close to healthcare. But as a contractor, I'm not sure I have insurance, so could have been an expensive thing. I can't imagine. There could be a lot of things that you'd need help with if you got hit by a train, assuming you survived. Obviously, if I didn't, they wouldn't be taking me to the hospital, and I haven't seen a lot of morgues or funeral homes in the game, so I don't know that we'd see where I'd be going to if that was the case. So, the things we talk about in the middle of the night when we can't describe any scenery because we can't see very far. So now you understand one of the other reasons that you don't want to be doing that. So Keenan Advantage, it's a pretty big fuel hauler. They do a high percentage of the fuel in the US. So... we will go straight. I think once I hit 93 there, I'm going to be turning left, and that will then get me up to the interstate, and we'll be able to move along and get ourselves to Ontario. No, not Ontario, Canada. Ontario, whoops, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Yeah, the speed. Too many buttons, too many things. I know what I'm trying to change. I was trying to hide the in-dash GPS versus the floating game HUD that I have. Alright, they keep America moving. So, but I think we're going to turn left here.
Get ready to turn left.
Alright, well, she started just as I was getting ready to say something, because I'm like, the GPS has been good and early
Left. And then
for
keep
things. Now the light is red, so hopefully we'll...
Keep left.
let
And
me
then
go. I
turn
guess I'm going to have to go out, because otherwise I can't really see
Turn left.
the turn signal. I suppose if I'm back in here, and no, I can't really position it. But it just went green before all that, so we're able to continue. We'll swing out here far to the right so that I can not clip that car, because once again, I am trying to be a good, responsible contractor, because I don't think, I don't want to pay the fines, and I'm pretty sure whoever's employing me and hiring me to drive their equipment would prefer that I not damage their equipment. Dance for Pedro. I don't understand that. That can go so many ways.
Go straight.
Several of which are really weird and creepy. I don't know that I've ever seen that billboard. I don't know what to say. Alright, there's the photo thing. I don't know. I'm wondering if I should, stop and take some kind of photo. There's a viewpoint here, too. Interesting. So, how do you know what you need to do here with the photo? Let's see. Let me get closer. I'm going to try this and see if it, do I need to take a photo? Oh, I see. There's a man there. So maybe we need to do the same thing. So if I go to the photo studio and, oh, I see. Do I literally need to just take a picture of this? Me blocking traffic? I don't understand. Because it looks like it's giving me, I guess so. There we go. Photo trophy captured. Perrin Memorial Bridge. Alright. I can do that. I guess it's just something else to try to do in the game. Interesting feature. That's not one I recall from earlier versions. So I'm assuming that was recently introduced. Even if I wanted to, I can't really get over to the viewpoint on the other side, so we'll just keep going. Looks like the light is turning red, hence the warning probably blinking. Maybe that's actually set up and timed appropriately. Now, do I just keep going here? No, I'm going to loop around to the right once we get through underneath the overpass, and then we're going to go ahead and finally get on the interstate and head ourselves over to Ontario. So hopefully you're kind of enjoying this as we're here in the twilight. There we go. Peterbilt. Mystery. Whoa, I went too far. Mystery solved. So, not a Kenworth. It's a Peterbilt. So, see if I remember that little airplane wing. I don't think that's what it is. But that's hopefully how it'll stick in my head. Yeah, if I have that hood ornament. Because, yeah, the Kenworth, I think, is that KW that's kind of on the front grille. So you wouldn't really have a hood ornament. Obviously, Mack has the big bulldog. So some of them are a little bit obvious, but others not so much. But the nose of the tractor is kind of what got me to Peterbilt or Kenworth, because they're really the ones that are best known for that kind of a nose design. Alright, well, we don't have to worry about that light at this point, because we're going around the ramp. This is a newer tractor, at least. This is only 255,000. The last couple I think I've driven have been over 500 or 400,000 miles on them. So it lets you know like how long a truck can go. So we'll see in this series, speaking of how long a truck can go. So the longest I've ever gone in any profile in ATS is up to level 41. I've got a level 41 profile that is the first profile I've ever started. I think I'm in like the King of the Road difficulty, or not difficulty, but the levels in the 40s there. And that took a few hundred hours, so we'd have a lot of episodes, but in theory, that's partially why I'm doing this series, is kind of, if I don't have any add-ons, I don't have any mods that can cause it to suddenly not work, like the Coast to Coast series I eventually had to fold up because maps weren't getting updated. That led me to start this Back to Basics series in its stead. But in theory, I should be able to just keep going and going and going and be the Energizer Bunny of trucking. But we'll see how that all works out. Alright, so at this point, we are on the interstate. I can go a little bit faster. 5 miles an hour, but hey, every little bit helps. And then that should hopefully get us there. 2 hours of game time, so basically it should be about 8 a.m. by the time we pull in there. Again, given that I have multiple trailers, this is not going to be something I'm going to be able to back into a dock. So it should be a pretty quick delivery once I arrive. But a little bit of weaving here. But if I recall, this doesn't get incredibly mountainous here for quite some time. I'm going to turn on my signal because we're catching this guy. That SUV next to me doesn't care. But at this point, I'm going to move over. Hopefully I won't have people diving by on the right, because of course that is what people do, because they get impatient and they're sick of the turtle races, which is sometimes what these turn into. We are getting a little bit of an incline, but I am still closing on this, but someone was over on the right. So if they had enough runway, I think they would have gone ahead and just gone there. Once again, if there was that runway, I wouldn't be over here in the left lane trying to pass, so it all makes sense. Mountain Home, I remember this. I went by it a lot. That's also part of the reason I think I'm gonna stick with shorter runs. It's gonna make episodes more reasonable. But the other problem I had is once you start doing really long things, you're in essence doing the diagonals in the map. You're, kind of driving in an X all the time. Especially if you're a contractor, because once I then start selecting for distance, if I was doing that, because that was my max, by nature, that's going to be the longest runs I would have possible on the map, is always going to be a diagonal versus a straight vertical or horizontal run. Alright. So, hour and 12 minutes. So again, maybe just before 8. Part of it's going to be determined by if I'm going to need to pass a weigh station and have to stop and get weighed. It's just another rest area right now. I've still got over 10 hours before my hours of service would expire, and I need to go ahead and pull over. So, Idaho City, Gowan Road. We are again going to Ontario. A little bit of challenge up the hill, because, even though I'm set to go to 65, I could only get to 55 there. We kind of tipped over the top of that crest. We're moving along a little bit more now. Exit 57. So we're getting near the border, because again, Ontario is technically in Oregon. Catching up to the Barron's bus. Oh, look at that, we got Boise discovered. So that'll be another source for us. So pretty soon we're going to have, I mean, we have quite a few load options anyway. I had a lot of dots there. Looks like some police got somebody on the other side. Alright, so we'll get here through Boise. And I think it's the next town after this. There may be one more in between. I'm trying to recall. We got Eagle and McCall at the next exit. And trying to figure out if I'm really closing on that bus or not. It appears we are, but then sometimes it appears we're not. Alright, but we're at 7 a.m., 47 minutes. Now again, once we pull off, I'm assuming things are going to tick along a little faster. Alright, I see a Walmart coming into view on my map GPS over there.
Keep left.
I'm just not sure if this is still part of Boise. College of Western Idaho. But we're not catching the bus. Alright, so Nampa. I think we discover this from the highway, so it should get me this too. There we go. And if you reverse that, it's Appman, just in case you were wondering, because sometimes it's just fun to go to the opposite city than where you're at. Uh-oh. I'm going to be nice and let him in. Again, I've got adaptive cruise, so it backed off a little crazily, so I got to keep that in mind in the future. So we got 26 miles to Ontario, according to that sign we just kind of drifted by at 20 miles an hour. I don't think it was quite that bad, but it was pretty bad. So I think we can see, yeah, the trip meters below my speedometer there. We're at 197, and I think it was like 222 or something. And we're moving along pretty well. Alright, Lewiston, which is, I think, way north in Idaho. So that would make sense that you'd take 95 up to get there. North-south crossing of where I'm at here on the interstate. So right now we're kind of going northwest, it says, according to my compass. And there we go, Ontario in a mile. And I'm pretty sure we'll be exiting here. So we'll see what she says. Yep, there's the delivery point over there at the D.R. Horton. Get my signal on. We've already discovered Ontario. That's good stuff. Do I?
Right.
Oh, I was like, oh, okay. I don't want to exit here. I want to exit at the next one. I'm like, did it not call, or is there another exit? Or yeah, exit, but
Exit right.
there is not. Alright, let's see. I'll try to avoid, if I can, going all the way down to 25, because this highly inclined ramp otherwise is going to take forever. Alright, let's sweep on over there. Looks like we have a red light. I'm going to stay to the left, because D.R. Horton up there is clearly to the left. So we're going to pass that potential expansion truck headquarters that is going to be over on the left here. Pretty large truck stop laid out here over to the right. Alright, so there is a garage we could buy. And that will probably be it at this point then. We've just got the delivery point. Now it's interesting. Let's see if I can see here. Because it'd be nice to know, like, which way I need to... I don't know where I'm going to need to go. I just don't like the placement of that arrow, because it's not as if I can really reverse course here. But I'm thinking I go straight and around. So I'm going to try that. Although it looks like there's some obstruction in the back there. So hopefully I won't regret this, but we'll find out in a moment. To give myself plenty of room to swing. But let's see. Oh, I can actually just pull in here. So I may have gone too far. I did. So hopefully this will work out. So again, I'm going to stay in the cab and try to make this work. I'm not quite sure I could have done it any more vigorously. Oh, I'm hoping that back trailer won't get hung up here. I think we're in. Awesome. So we should be in good shape here. Let's go. There we are. Alright. See what our rewards are. But yeah, we're right up there where we normally want to be. So, level 3 proficiency, that's always helpful for cash. Simple trailer maneuvering. I wouldn't expect with the short trips we've got. I'm thinking our leveling up is going to take some time, but that's alright. There's no rush. It's more about the journey than it is the destination. So, continuing to move up here. Let's just see if there's anything interesting in our career situation. I've got 6 deliveries now in total in my fledgling trucking organization. We've spent about 2 hours, which should make sense because I think this is the 4th episode, and again trying to keep them at about half an hour. That would make sense. Unfortunately, we've got a few penalties and haven't even driven 1,000 miles yet. But hey, we do have 1 photo trophy, and now we understand how that works. So thanks for tagging along. If you've liked this, please go ahead and mark the like button, give that a tap, so that the algorithm knows that people are enjoying this and it'll start to spread. It's always extremely important with a new series so that we get visibility out there in the YouTube space amongst everything that people can choose from. And for those who have chosen this, I do thank you immensely for taking part of your time to get here, to get through this. If you haven't become a subscriber yet, I'd appreciate it if you do that. I'm trying to get to that magical 1,000 subscriber amount, and everyone helps. So I'd love to have you join us and get a little bit clearer access to what we've got going on here on the channel. And I will see you next time.